Are you all ready? All right. Could I ask you to stand for the processional while the students come in? Thank you. Good evening once again. Almost 100 graduates, over 600 guests. There's a lot of love and support in this room, so welcome. Welcome to the 2025 Spring Commencement. My name is Denis Provencher. I am the Associate Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, and I am Professor of French and Francophone Studies. And I'd like to welcome you to the 2025 Spring Commencement for the Interdisciplinary Studies. Interdisciplinary Studies is the home to teachers, students, researchers who integrate the arts, humanities, and social sciences to research, understand, and respond. Please sit down. I'm so excited, I forgot to tell you to sit down. Our community researches, understands, and responds to 21st century questions. Our community prepares for the future by engaging with an array of cultures and interdisciplinary perspectives on artistic, societal, technological, and scientific issues that are often international and historic in perspective. We do so through creativity, community building, globally minded critical thinking, and analysis. Interdisciplinary studies has 6 undergraduate majors, 8 undergraduate minors, 3 undergraduate dual degree honors programs, and 1 graduate program. With over 500 students in our majors in Africana studies, art studies, international studies, science, technology, and society, women, gender, and sexuality, and the self-design major, and over 200 minors. Together, our students make up the 5th largest graduating group within the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Our Master of Arts in Liberal Studies also brings together over 30 students who are creative, passionate, and engaged, and who study a broad range of topics, from fair housing to hospitality and communication, sports management, sustainability, arts entrepreneurship, and fashion studies. We have over 750 active students in all of our academic programs, and we're proud to be guiding undergraduate and graduate students to think and do in our local, state, national, and worldwide communities. As adaptable thinkers invested in interdisciplinary questions and inquiry, graduates, you have developed widely transferable skills applicable to a range of academic fields and sectors. Our world needs you more than ever. Feel confident in the skills that you've acquired here at NC State, and the faculty are honored to have learned alongside you. We're honored today to have many of the faculty in interdisciplinary studies, and I'd like to take a moment to ask our faculty, our program directors, and coordinators to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Madhusudan Katti, or Madhu Katti. I'm the director of the Science, Technology, and Society program.
Marcia Gordon, professor and director of the Film Studies program.
Nora Hahn, professor and director of undergraduate programs.
Jonathan Kramer, music and arts studies.
Joshua Brinkman, assistant teaching professor in science, technology, and society.
Rodney Washka, director and professor of arts studies.
Hello, Wolfpack family. My name is Seth Murray, and I direct the International Studies program and the Alexander Hamilton Scholars program.
Hi there, Dr. Amanda Ross Edwards. I'm a teaching associate professor and director of the Master of Arts in Liberal Studies program.
Bob Patterson. I have joint appointments in 2 colleges, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, I should say the Precious College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and also the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. And I'm given the good fortune to be able to teach courses in your precious college. It means everything to me to have the opportunity that you give us to connect and move forward together in very, very mutually supportive ways.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Verena Kasper-Marienberg, Associate Professor of History and Director of Women, Gender, and Sexualities Studies.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Tatiana Rabinovich. I'm an Assistant Teaching Professor in International Studies.
Good evening. Carter Zarwar, Assistant Professor in Interdisciplinary Studies.
Hi, I'm Victoria Ralston, Art Studies, and I'm the coordinator of the Visual Arts Concentration.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Hadin Jai, a teaching associate professor in international studies.
Thank you, faculty. On behalf of the faculty, graduates, we'd like to offer you big congratulations on this day. You've not only proven that you have the discipline to think critically, conduct research, and write convincingly, you've also had the wisdom to choose a major with us that has challenged you to ask and answer hard questions. And through your hard work, you've gained the skill you'll need to conquer any task in front of you in the future. Among today's graduates, we have 4 Hamilton Scholars, 3 Franklin Scholars, 1 Jefferson Scholar on 1 Jefferson Scholar, 3 Park Scholars on 4-year fellowship, 1 Caldwell Fellow, 6 University Honors and University Scholars Programs, over 30 co-majors, over 50 students graduating with GPA honors, 3 interdisciplinary studies ambassadors, and 4 graduate students completing their graduate degree with us in the MALS program. You also did so much individually and collectively while you were here with us. You came to us, some of you, as first-generation college students. You joined a sorority or fraternity. You completed an internship or 2 or 3, like many of you did. You worked as a research assistant. You completed a senior capstone course. You served as a student senator, or you interned for the city of Raleigh. You earned inclusion on the dean's list every semester while you were here. You worked full or part-time during college, many of you, and you traveled across the world to countries like Scotland, the UK, France, Italy, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Jordan, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Cuba, Colombia, and beyond. Some less traditional accolades: one of you became a proud cat dad. One of you had your short film chosen for a screening at North Carolina's largest film festival. Another of you, a member of the Women's Rugby Club. Another, a member of the women's soccer team. Another, a member of the women's volleyball team who helped get them to the NCAA tournament. Feel free to clap. Lots of... This is just the warm-up, okay? Another of you, a member of the Black Male Initiative. Another, a choreographer of Sube Ritmo, a Latin dance team. Another, the 2025 Student Assistant of the Year at the NC State University Libraries. Another launched their own clothing brand, okay? I mean, Sukarno as a first-year student. Another reached their 30-year-long goal of finally completing their master's degree. Woohoo! And another who interned at PBS North Carolina. Finally, and perhaps most exciting, after graduation, many of you will take a gap year, sleep, or travel. Yes? Yes. You'll go to law school or med school. You'll pursue graduate studies in English, health informatics, art history, policy, international development, public relations, or structural engineering. You'll work in poverty relief, humanitarian relief and development, city planning, healthcare administration, business technology, medical and scientific communication, curatorial studies, data analytics, digital media, or medical device sales. You'll work for a bank, TIA Investments, or Underwriters Laboratories, and you'll teach either in North Carolina or abroad in places like Spain and South Korea. Very impressive. How about a round of applause? These are just a few of the many paths you'll take, and graduates, we are very proud of you, what you've done and what you will accomplish. We can't wait to see what comes next. Today is a day that we recognize your accomplishments and reflect on your achievements, and we've asked 2 wonderful speakers to share their insights with us before we award the certificates. So first, we'll introduce our student commencement speaker, and I'd like to invite Dr. Josh Brinkman, who will introduce our speaker.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm going to do the cliched thing, which we never do in STS, which is to say congratulations to the graduates and the families as well. As someone with a young one at home, I hope to be in your position sometime soon. So give yourself a round of applause. It takes a lot of sacrifice for everyone in this room. So as a teaching professor, we were just talking about this. We spend a lot of our time with the struggling students, just because ones that don't hand in work or do their work on time, they take up a lot of our time sometimes and require a lot of attention. But we do this, we work for the good ones. And that's what keeps us doing this. That's why we grade papers at 12 o'clock at midnight. That's why we sit on I-40 in traffic just to give a lecture. And so we all know what we're talking about, right? If you're from the area, you know what I-40 can be like. So it's my pleasure today to introduce one of the good ones, Teresa Voiles. And Teresa is getting her degree today in Science, Technology, and Society. And Science, Technology, and Society, also known as STS, is a profession that not only teaches you facts, but also teaches you how to think about the world and how to ask questions. And that method of asking questions and thinking about the world can be summed up in questioning underlying assumptions, questioning the things that we take for granted. And as a profession that kind of came out of critiquing the military-industrial complex in the 60s, it really tries to challenge power and authority. And so while other people might be lauding the great new technologies that are out or have techno-optimism or celebrating its great inventors, we are the ones saying, are you sure about that? We're the ones that say, maybe you haven't thought about that in creative ways. Maybe there's other ways to think about how science and technology develops, what impacts it has on society. And so if STS was an animal, and that was our analogy, we would be the honey badger. And honey badgers, a recent BBC article in 2004 described the honey badger as this feisty, cocksure carnivore is found across much of Africa, Southwest Asia, and India, where it's renowned as one of nature's badasses. Famed for its strength, tenacity, and toughness, honey badgers will pick a fight with seemingly any animal at any time of any size and win much of the time. And so while we're not always winning as STSers, we're the ones picking the fight. We're the ones that say, you missed something important. Have you thought about it this way? Are you sure about that? Even if it alienates our friends in traditional STEM fields. And we are interdisciplinary, so as long as you have that fiery, feisty honey badger spirit, we welcome you. And we want your input, and we want your background, and we use it for our own benefit. And so Teresa has mastered the kind of creativity and constant questioning we do in STS. And as a true STSer, she's not afraid to say what she thinks. And she also has an open mind and curiosity to look at things in different ways and creative ways. She is indeed a badass. So this is why I nominated her. It's not because she got an A+ in my class, she did. It's not because she participated a lot in class and always had something interesting to say, she did. It's because of what she said and the content of what she said and how she thinks about the world. So as an example of this, in my class called Ethical Dimensions of Progress, she presented a reading by the great Jane Jacobs, where we were thinking about cities critically, looking at urban spaces and asking different creative, hard questions about them. How should a city look? How should it be laid out? What is a city even? How should we think about urban space? And so during her presentation, and by the way, she was fearless in front of the class, one idea from Jacobs that she highlighted was that cities should have focal points, that to bring everyone, diverse communities together, which is what Jacobs was all about, was highlighting the living, breathing city. They should have focal points that gather people around. And so Teresa said that the campus here at NC State should also have a focal point. And so what was her focal point? It wasn't a pretty building with columns. It wasn't a statue. Teresa thought we should build a roller coaster on the campus. And the class agreed with little that day, but it was almost unanimous that yes, NC State needs its own roller coaster. And so I fully expect with this degree and this honor that's a resume patter to have the Teresa Boyles roller coaster in about maybe 2 years. Is that reasonable? Because I think she can get that done. And I just ask that it goes from the library to my building where I teach so that my class attendance increases. But so that she can get onto that and she can get that done, I introduce our latest honey badger to walk across this stage, Teresa Boyles. Congratulations, and now go break some stuff.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Well, welcome to our college graduation. Yeah. Do you guys feel a little lighter? Like, can you breathe a little bit easier now? I know I can. Tonight is a rare moment in life that we get to pause, take a deep breath, and look both backward and forward at once. Backward at the papers we've read and written, the tests we've taken, the late nights we've spent studying, and the unforgettable friendships that have helped us grow into people we couldn't have imagined we would be when we enrolled in our freshman year classes what felt like a lifetime ago. We've Simone Biles leapt through every single hoop, and now we get to look forward to the future we are empowered to create. I'd like to challenge every graduate here tonight to think of what the most valuable lesson you've learned during your studies. For some of us, it might be that we are stronger and more resilient than we ever believed. In 60 years, we might get to share with our grandchildren how to survive and succeed during a global pandemic. We might get to tell them how we scaled mountains while battling an epic mental health crisis. For others, we might get to tell them how to effectively change people's minds by creating an empathetic narrative. For me personally, I've learned that I don't have all the answers. As many tests as we could ever take, none of us will ever have all of the answers. Power is not about having all the answers, but about asking important and relevant questions. True power lies in having the ability to think critically, listen generously, and act with integrity. Learning is so beautiful because it does not have a finish line. It never ends. It only evolves with us. How many of you can say that you're where you thought you would be right now 4 or 5 or even 6 years ago? I'm willing to bet that none of you can say that you thought you would be here. And you know what? That's really cool. I cannot begin to express how grateful I am that I'm not where I thought I would be at that time, because honestly, I was chasing a pipe dream of what I imagined success might look like. I enrolled as a freshman in 2017, 8 years ago, as a mechanical engineering student. I completed 3 years of engineering coursework and a co-op during that time, all according to the arrow straight timeline I had prescribed for myself. I was exactly what I thought I should be, but I wasn't happy. I felt like a spectator in my own life, observing it through a window that no matter how hard I pried, I could never open. I made the decision to switch into interdisciplinary studies for reasons I couldn't even understand myself, and it was the best decision I could have made. After all, I get to be here and celebrate with you guys. With the help of the incredible people on this stage, I figured out how to open my eyes when I hadn't even realized they were closed. I was blind to the perspectives of others that I look back in myself and cringe. I am forever grateful for our professors for unsubscribing me to the systems of power to which I had been clutching so tightly. I'm so grateful for what I've learned about Black, Indigenous, poor, LGBTQ, and women's struggles, and how they're coded so deeply into our existence. We sit here as masters of liberal arts, Africana scholars, women's, genders, and sexuality savants, filmmakers, musicians, visual artists, and theater geniuses. Together, we contain treasure troves of educated kindness. We, the class of 2025, are a dangerous force of excellence with the power to make the change this world so desperately needs. In the 2022 and 2023 school year, 12 of our classmates died by suicide, and NC State never talked about it, so I'm talking about it. All of us carry that weight within us, like a held breath, and we have continued to hold that breath as we've matriculated through our degree programs. Those students should be here, and it really sucks that they're not. I, like many of you, left the engineering department because my friends were dying, and I decided I wouldn't be next. When I say the Interdisciplinary Studies department saves lives, I'm not exaggerating. Every single one of us matters, and we belong here. If ever in your life you're dealing with dark thoughts, please, I beg you, we beg you, to seek some help. It's always better to cry on a friend's shoulder than to have them cry at your funeral. When all of that was happening, I felt that pain and recognized that that department was dangerous, and I opted to change my life rather than lose it. I was completely prepared to drop out of college altogether, and by some small semblance of luck, I was directed to the interdisciplinary department. I had one conversation with my wonderful advisor, Dr. Sibley. She's the reason I'm graduating today. Dr. Sibley introduced me to science and technology and society, where I get to ask questions, provide solutions, and cause problems. I'm forever in debt to Dr. Sibley and my other professors for their syllabi, because they've provided solace where I didn't think possible. They helped me realize that I wasn't happy in engineering because I had been so ingrained in the world of STEM that I lost my humanity. I'm so honored to speak here, to be standing here. I want to say every cliche that's expected of a graduation speech, but I feel like you guys deserve better. This is really scary. I'm scared. I've been applying to jobs for months without a response, but you know what? I don't want a job that can be done with ChatGPT. I don't want a job in which I'm programming my replacement. I want to be creative and impactful and useful. Did you know that the creator of the insect exhibit at the Raleigh Museum of Science was created by an STS major? The one with the live spider that just like hangs out in the corner while everyone screams and gawks. It just chills there, that one. If you haven't been, you definitely should. But anyways, that makes me feel so inspired. I'm so inspired by people that make us look at things differently, and even more inspired that that person is one of us. Don't get me wrong, bugs are gross. But my mind was changed by that exhibit. That is what makes me proud to hold this degree. That is what makes me proud to be who I am. All the weird, crazy, why are you like this sort of stuff. All of us have that. If we didn't, we wouldn't be part of interdisciplinary studies. We have the creativity and the skill sets to change people's minds. We're in the Department of Interdisciplinary Studies because we care about how science and technology affects one another. We care about the effects each iPhone, each exhibit, and each new innovation has on the world around us. Forget millennial, forget Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever we are. Who really cares? Because we are the next generation, the innovators, the people who care. Technological kindness is a concept that is egregiously overlooked. Technological kindness deserves a place in this world of coding and all of its associated biases. We all know how to type, how to write, the basics of coding and UI, UX design. We know how to create an interface, whether personal or technological, that is meaningful and memorable. We have degrees from NC State's Interdisciplinary Studies Department, and we've got this. All of us are here because this department has given us an avenue to explore who we are while also celebrating everyone else who is doing the same. So forget fear. As we enter this new chapter in our lives, we can never forget how important it is that we were here. Just as we remember our greatest college friends, we must develop an appreciation for what we've learned and for that which we've worked so hard. As scholars of the Interdisciplinary Studies Department, we have learned to embrace and value ourselves and each other. So as we go forth into new jobs, advanced degrees, countless other paths, let us never lose that power. Let's not rush to succeed, but aim to contribute. Let's lead not with ego, but with empathy. Let's keep learning, not because we have to, but because we care. And most of all, let's not forget to lift others as we achieve. Together, we are the change makers, the status quo shakers, the norm breakers, and the earthquakers. On behalf of all of us graduating, thank you so much to our wonderful faculty and staff for their wisdom and grace, for the last-minute extensions, to our friends, our parents, and our support systems who went through all of this with us. Thank you so much for letting me speak tonight. I'm Teresa Boyles. Congratulations!
Teresa, that was nothing less than spectacular and inspiring. Another round of applause for Teresa, please. Thank you. From one badass to another, I want to tell you that you will always be part of the interdisciplinary family. We are so proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. It's now my honor to introduce Dr. Nora Hahn, Professor of Anthropology and Director of the Undergraduate Programs in Interdisciplinary Studies. Nora will introduce our keynote speaker. Nora?
Hi, everybody. On behalf of my colleagues and everyone in Interdisciplinary Studies, I'm so pleased to introduce to you our graduation speaker, Dr. Ashley Hink. So you may have read about Dr. Hink in NC State Magazine. I'm sure you're all gripped to NC State Magazine every time it comes out, but she was featured in it last year. And just earlier this week, she was featured in our newsletter in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, where she was featured as one of 3 alums bridging the humanities, social sciences, and healthcare. Dr. Hink graduated from NC State in 2005 with degrees in microbiology and science and technology studies. She went on to earn a medical degree and now serves as a trauma surgeon, public health researcher, and overall health care provider at the Medical University of South Carolina. We invited Dr. Hink today as one of our many alums who draws on their training to integrate disciplines in a way that creatively responds to 21st century life and encourages everyone to thrive. Dr. Hink comes to us from Charleston, a city I bet many of you know for its beauty because it's a top destination for travelers from around the world. But as a trauma surgeon, Dr. Hink sees other aspects of life in the Charleston not so visible to tourists. And this is unfortunately especially the effects of gun violence in the city. While gun violence has declined significantly since spiking during the pandemic, we all know that any injury is one too many. In response to the needs she was seeing in her trauma surgery, Dr. Hink helped found the initiative called Turning the Tide. This is South Carolina's first and only hospital-based violence prevention program. At Turning the Tide, Dr. Hink works with her colleagues to address the roots of intentional gun violence that she encounters. By combining science and society, Dr. Hink treats more than people's wounds. She thinks about people in the context of their families, their schools, their neighborhoods, and larger communities. She considers the many places where a skillful hand might help to prevent such violence in the future, and she and her team step up to help. Dr. Hink's ongoing work has been supported with funds from the U.S. Department of Justice, the Kaiser Permanente Center for Gun Violence Research and Education, and the Everytown Community Safety Fund, among others. I invite you to join me and give me a warm welcome to Dr. Ashley Hink.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you for having me today, although it's a little hard to follow Teresa. That was an amazing speech that you just gave. So I'm really honored to join you in celebration today at a place that's really quite dear to me. As someone now 20 years removed from NC State exactly, I can tell you that Not all of my time here was easy, but the years were some of the best of my life, and they've probably been some of yours as well. And I would do anything to go back and relive just a few weeks of my time here, spending time studying at Cup of Joe. That's actually when they still let people smoke in it, if you can imagine how long ago that was. Learning how to bowl and score my own games at the old bowling alley on Hillsborough Street that y'all know as Target now. Studying abroad in England, spending late nights writing and editing articles for The Technician. Attending films, debates, and listening to campus speakers that opened my mind and changed my beliefs about the world. And feeling a sense of accomplishment as I tackled new and hard things and earning a degree in higher education. Many of you have a collection of memories that you haven't coalesced yet to reflect on, but I hope that you take the time to do so with gratitude, joy, and pride. For many people, these experiences are what dreams are made of. For so many, lives are very hard. Opportunities are slim, and for some, survival is the mere goal that they have. So we are very fortunate. You are very fortunate. So my first message is to be grateful for your memories, your education, your achievements, and importantly, the people that helped get you here, some of who are in this room. A very tangible memory that I had in your seat was feeling very uncertain about the future and whether the possibilities that I had envisioned would be achievable and within reach after graduating. Many of you might feel this today. This reality hit hard for me because after 2 days of graduation, I was in training for my new job. And it wasn't the jobs that I heard about earlier, it was to become a waitress at the Flying Saucer in downtown Raleigh. Some of you might know it. It certainly wasn't the makings of my dual degrees. However, I did not get into medical school the first time, and I had yet to find a job relevant to my experience, and I had bills to pay. So I, like many others, learned a lot about myself in humbling times and setbacks, and when my paths changed, and in situations I didn't anticipate being in. This was the first of a few meandering moments that I had on my path to where I am today as a trauma and critical care surgeon, a public health researcher, a violence intervention program leader, and very importantly, a mom to a beautiful 1-year-old baby. So my second message for you, and to maybe some of your worried parents, is that not all who wander are lost. These detours, the delays, the unexpected paths, they can and should be a means in themselves and not just a means to an end. I learned so much, found joy, discovered new interests and passions, and made friends and saw things that I never would have. I would argue it was precisely these things that led me to where I was exactly supposed to be, because I had never intended on becoming a trauma surgeon or a leader and researcher in violence intervention. However, I have to acknowledge that things are a little different for you today than they were for me 20 years ago. There are new challenges that you face, and many of you have dedicated the last few years of your lives to gain skills, knowledge, and expertise to do truly amazing things that we value and need, like creating film, music, and visual arts to tell the stories of others, to inform and challenge worldviews, to ensure that history, its people, its truths, its events are not forgotten, but reflected in our policies and society, ensuring the health and safety of the public, creating innovative solutions and businesses to address complex challenges in our environment and with social and engineering problems, advocating for policies and services to reduce disparities and lift people out of poverty or violence, ensuring women and girls have equal opportunity and ability to control their lives and their health, finding ways for AI to help us rather than displace us in a changing economy, and protecting democracy and free speech. What I might say to you, to myself, when there are real threats to some of these things that you've aspired to do and that we, quite frankly, need you to do? How do we stay inspired and hopeful during challenging times? I'll impart a few things, just 3, that continue to inspire me and what I know to hold true when the world feels grim. The first is to acknowledge that you can and do meaningfully improve the lives of others. I'm intimately involved in tragedy, pain, and loss every day in what I do. It is easy to focus on these things, the deaths, the bad outcomes, the lives that are forever changed by a fall, a car crash, a house fire, an act of gun violence. However, I know that for all of these cases, there are so many more that I and my fantastic team members are able to do to change lives, to improve them, and to save them. So while we cannot turn away from the bad and must always strive for better and improve, we must see and feel the good that we do and the good that we can impart on those around us. Otherwise, the heavy weight of the world and other circumstances can feel insurmountable. Second is to do what is right. You may think this is overly simplistic and even a flawed principle, as what is right can be relative and redefined based on certain views or beliefs. But what is right is usually as clear as day. Before going back to medical school, 4 years after graduation, so took some detours like I mentioned, before mass shootings were regular events in our society, I was acutely aware that violence in all of its forms was critically overlooked in public health and in medicine. When I proposed research and programmatic work related to preventing and intervening on violence, I was laughed at, literally, and told that there was no way to meaningfully do this work, even by those on the front lines caring for victims of gun violence, sometimes who viewed it as someone else's problem or feared the politics of it. But most can agree on a simple premise that fewer people should be dying from gunshots. And we should not want to live in a country where firearm injuries are the leading cause of death for youth. For me, as a future trauma surgeon, doing nothing was not the right thing. I remained committed to doing research in the area, eventually becoming a grant-funded researcher, and started our first hospital violence intervention program in South Carolina, and one of the few in the South, which has since helped hundreds of victims of violence and thousands of their family members in my community of Charleston, South Carolina. Like many things, this was hard, especially in South Carolina, but it was the right thing to do. The third and the last is to create avenues for human connection and empathy. This is a really important one when things feel hard and grim. One of the reasons that I love my job is because I get to interact with and get to know so many people from so many walks of life. I might be caring for a multimillionaire CEO or a politician, followed by a refugee that's escaping a country where they are facing persecution, a single mom working multiple jobs trying to care for her family and keep her kids housed, or someone who's trying to recover from addiction after years of childhood trauma. I have a close view to the realities of people's lives and their circumstances, and while my experience might be different from theirs, I choose to learn from them and choose to find empathy with them. One of the most important questions that I ask my patients is, what else should I know about you to take good care of you? So I challenge you to know the people around you, as we live in a society where there is less interaction and more separation. These barriers, whether they're created by screens, AI, policies, or community structure, it means that there's less understanding of the human condition, less empathy, less kindness, and more opportunities for otherism. We must have meaningful human connection, and we must care, because the society we live in is, after all, profoundly interconnected. And it becomes fragile when we stop realizing how our actions, our work, our policies can invoke harm to others, and importantly, can invoke harm to ourselves. Our health, our safety, our environment, our economy, and communities, they require and thrive on real human connection and understanding. So, I hope that you can feel gratitude for your education, your experience, and for the people that have helped you to get here today. And I hope you can find joy and meaning in your path, and remember that not everything is a means to an end. It is a means in itself. And as the world feels very heavy at times, please take pause to note the meaningful things that you can do for people and that you do for people. stay true to what is right, and find avenues to meaningfully interact with others and build empathy. So class of 2025, no pressure, but we need you now more than ever. We need your ideas, your energy, your knowledge, your creativity, your values, and your desire to do good. You bring so much potential and so much value to our world. You are needed. But maybe just for tonight, we'll temper our expectations and pressure on you to go save our world and simply recognize your accomplishments because each of you have already done something amazing. Congratulations.
Dr. Hink, thank you so much. Welcome home to the PAC. We're so happy to have you with us. Thank you. And our last presentation before we get to the big event, I promise, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Dr. Madhu Kati, Director of Science, Technology, and Society, who will introduce our Bob Patterson Interdisciplinary Studies Fellow Award. Madhu?
How's everyone doing? Soon you'll be making some noise. Because that's one of the characteristics of our graduation ceremonies. I've been to others, but we make the most noise here. I'm actually thrilled to hear that the theme of the evening has become meandering paths, wandering, and taking time to find your way to school and life. So each semester, the Interdisciplinary Studies Faculty Council names a graduating senior as the Bob Patterson Interdisciplinary Studies Fellow. This student is chosen for their strong scholastic record, generosity, empathy, humility, open-mindedness, creativity, altruism, and gratitude, all of which are characteristics of Dr. Bob Patterson. So we've already met Dr. Patterson. Bob has had a remarkable career at NC State. He began with a bachelor's degree in soil science here in 1963, before I was born. And he's still here. He did spend some time away from here, earning his PhD in agronomy at Cornell University. But he returned to NC State to do really important research in crop physiology, soil fertility, and plant nutrition. But at the same time, he's always had a broader view of the world and of the place of his work in the social context. He cares about feeding people, about reducing hunger, and of finding ways to do so that are sustainable and just, both ecologically and socially. He is not a narrow thinker, nor is he the kind of professor who thinks he has all the answers and sees undergraduates as empty vessels to fill with his knowledge. Instead, Bob is curious and warm. I'm constantly struck by how thoughtful and fundamentally kind he is in communicating with students. He's mindful of his, indeed our responsibility to help our students expand their views of the world in ways that will help them grow and become compassionate problem solvers. He's sensitive to the challenges students are facing in the context of a world in turmoil these days, and is still, after all these years, looking for new ways to improve his teaching methods to meet today's students where they are. This is something we should all aspire to. And in this, like in so many other things, Bob remains a model professor for all of us here. Because he cares about all of us, he cares about each of us, and he's quick to perceive the gifts and talents of others, and also perfectly balances attention to the development of students' intellect, emotional development, and sense of justice. So, empathy, generosity, humility, open-mindedness, creativity, altruism, and gratitude. These are the characteristics that Bob Patterson teaches and embodies. And these are the very qualities embodied by this year's Bob Patterson Interdisciplinary Studies Fellow. More than anything, this year's Patterson Fellow has shown a remarkable resilience in overcoming considerable adversity to balance the challenges of life with academic work, recover from serious setbacks, and make it to the finish line today. Our fellow's journey to get here today has been long and arduous. And I don't mean the distance from their home to campus. I don't know how far that is. But I mean the decade-long journey that from first becoming an undergraduate student at NC State to graduating as an STS major this year. As faculty, we are not always aware of the challenges facing students in their personal lives off campus. We heard about the challenges from our student speaker today. And life can throw some serious curveballs at our students. We can also sometimes seem harsh towards students who may deviate from the standard pathway to graduation in 4 years. But those of us in interdisciplinary studies know that sticking to the straight and narrow path is not how we ourselves ended up here. Our own academic journeys have required us to breach academic silos and cross disciplinary boundaries and work together to build an interdisciplinary program that prepares our students to meet the complex challenges of today's world. In doing so, we try to support them as best as we can and are truly happy to see students succeed in overcoming life's challenges and the ones we throw at them in our classes. This year's fellow came here with a strong record of success in diverse academic and extracurricular activities in high school, including being chosen for the NC North Carolina Governor's School. Since then, however, their path took some twists and turns through different majors on campus and to get around major roadblocks in life outside. This culminated in a serious interruption just after the COVID pandemic hit, forcing her to drop out. She came back to NC State a year ago in the spring semester of 2024, this time as an STS major. As a part-time student and a full-time parent to a young child, she has accomplished and sustained a 4.0 GPA, or close to it, every semester. Along the way, she has also completed minors in biological sciences and psychology, all while balancing a day job, schoolwork, and childcare, and consistently demonstrating a strong commitment to showing up to class and doing the work. In conclusion, it's obviously has been a long and rough road for her to reach this point. She exemplifies that much used word, resilience, and is an embodiment of the qualities highlighted in this award. It brings me great pride, therefore, to announce this year's Bob Patterson Interdisciplinary Studies Fellow, Ms. Stephanie Curry. You here? Come on down here. We are immensely grateful for people like Stephanie and Bob. Thanks. They remind us of what is possible, even when it seems improbable. They show us the humility that is at the core of greatness, and they shine a light for all of us to see how we can make a difference in our world. Please join me in congratulating Stephanie Curry, our Spring 2025 Bob Patterson Interdisciplinary Studies Fellow.
Stephanie. Congratulations again. She didn't know. She didn't know this was happening, so give her a second to take it in. This is one of the best parts of my job. Just to see, we are so proud of all of you. And just each of you has a story like this. And this never gets old for me, I don't think. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for. So the awarding of the degrees, and actually it's the awarding of certificates because your degrees will come in the mail, right? So Mr. Bruce Cheek, who has ushered you in this evening, will signal to each row of the graduates when it's time to rise and assemble to the right of the stage, okay? I'll ask the faculty representative from each of the respective programs to join me on stage. Dr. Edwards, I think you are first. Ivy Tran, who is our student worker, will help me distribute the keepsakes at the table. And our official photographer, Philip, will take pictures of the graduates. And families, take as much time to cheer and to clap and to take pictures as you want. Try when you come up for your picture, here on the blue X, okay? Stand on the blue X for us, please. Then the graduates will return to their seats on the opposite side, and please take your time and watch your step, okay? Please cheer as loudly as you want for as long as you want, right? Unless you have dinner reservations right afterwards, okay? Okay. All right, so our first awards will be for the Masters of Arts in Liberal Studies, and Dr. Amanda Edwards will come up to the podium.
Yep, I'll show you right there. Yep. Michelle Lynn, concentration, communications, and social justice. Marquise Moore, concentration, human behavior, and the social world. Madison Williams, concentration, interdisciplinary studies in sports business law and operations.
On behalf of the faculty, it is my pleasure to recognize Dontrez Stiles with a degree in Africana Studies.
Hello, I'll be reading the names of the graduates in Arts Studies, and faculty will be helping with the greeting and shaking hands and congratulating. We will begin with the Film Studies concentration and Dr. Marcia Gordon. Our first graduate is Jensen Abhow. Jesselyn Diana Ray Barton. Abby Fulp. Emma Hamrick. Anna Hansen. Dongjae Liu. We have two more. Amy Fan No. Tay Park. Dr. Jonathan Kramer will be helping me with the music and theater graduates. In music, Gracie Elizabeth Marie Owens. That's the only one. And Professor Ralston will be helping with the visual arts concentrators. We begin with Julie Ann Bateman. Alexandra Avery Kirby. Peyton Elizabeth Mazelin. O'Brien Millard. Ram Nori. Sarah Von Cannon.
There are 8 concentrations in the International Studies degree program. We will recognize all of those tonight. With a concentration in East and Southeast Asia, James Chua. With a concentration in Europe, Daniel Bocom. Griffin Bryant. Charlotte Munsey. Egan O'Hara. With a concentration in South Asia and the Middle East, Aliana Kendall Brooks. With a concentration in global cultural studies, Yasser Cardenas. Blair Garrett, Shannon Jenkins. Oh, sorry. Shannon Jenkins, Paulina Lynn. With a concentration in global relations, Janine Assad. Griffin Baird. Emmy Boulder. Josh Childers. Claudia Cuevas, Francis Glasser, Joseph Godwin. Allison Joyner. Good job. Jack Kakasenko, Sebastian Hodgins. Jana Locklear. On Medevey. Emma Morioka. Maguire Mulik. Marilyn No. Congratulations. Avery Pardue. Congratulations. Brenna Patterson. Brenna Rusek. Yoon Song. Theo Theologos. Elaine Wolochuk. And with a concentration in global sustainability and development, Carolyn Causey. Joy Connors. Anna Hadley. Emma Harrison. Olivia Lanza. And Maria Soto.
Now come the Bachelor of Arts in Science, Technology, and Society, Darius Costin. There you go. Ryan Foster.
Thank you.
Kingsley Harris. Jacob Kelly. Madeline Kenny. Andrew Richardson Jr. Congratulations. Isabel Siros. With a Bachelor of Science in Science, Technology, and Society, Vivek Akela. See here? Josh Anand. Congratulations. Vasu Bhakti. Rachel Bain.
Thank you.
Brooklyn Church. Emily Clark. Emma Cool. Stephanie Curry. Congratulations.
I love you, baby.
Justin Davis. Carmen Eichenberger. Braden Fox. Hannah Guy. Congratulations. Danielle Hahn. Congratulations. Maya Hernandez. Congratulations. Sema Jeffers. Jordan LaRose. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Benny Locklear, Alexander Luege, Tessa Mastrocola, Isaac Molina, Caden Fan, congratulations. Blaine Roberts, Tyler Smith, Leah Turk, Teresa Wiles, Bianca White, Niam Williams, congratulations. And Isabel Robel. That's it.
It's my special pleasure to call the graduate for Women, Gender and Sexuality Studies, Bachelor of Arts, Tyra Fry. Now our second graduate is Pallavi Patil.
The self-designed major in interdisciplinary studies is a little different because students actually pull together their own concentration, their own thematic area of study. And it is my pleasure to congratulate Taryn Rowe Hopper for her self-designed major in digital media, language, and technology in society.
Could I have all the graduates stand up and face the audience? One last round of applause for the class of 2025. Thank you, families. Thank you, parents. Thank you, friends. There's a lot of love in this room tonight, and it gives me a lot of hope for y'all as you move into the future. We need you more than ever, class of 2025, so thank you. Before we wrap it up, I'd like to thank everyone who helped make this possible today, especially Bruce, would you please stand up? Erica, would you please? Bruce, Erica, our student workers. Thanks to our photographer, Philip McDonald. Philip, thank you. Thanks to the rest of our staff in interdisciplinary studies, our student assistants, and thanks to the staff at Stewart Theater. I'd also like to thank the faculty for your leadership in interdisciplinary studies and the inspiration and mentorship that you've provided to these students. One last round of applause for them. The musical recording you'll hear on the way out, the recessional, is by our music professor of art studies, Dr. Rodney Washka. So thank you, Rodney, for this piece as we proceed out. Graduates, remember to stay in touch with us. We love hearing from you. Look at Dr. Ashley Hink. Come back, tell us your story so that we can brag about you. Go out and think and do, but also thrive, please. Think, do, and thrive. Wherever the journey leads you, graduates, remember, go Pack. Families, could you please just seats until the faculty and then the graduates have recessed, and then we would ask you to also please leave the theater the way that you found it. There will be other graduates and families using this space, and we'd like them to be able to enjoy it to the same level that you have. Thank you, and congratulations once again, class of 2025. Thank you.